Well, what's up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA. It's the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. Of course, we're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance, and you hopefully just finished on Fight TV a brand new episode of NWA Powerrr, and it was a big one, a long one. They've been over-delivering on NWA Powerrr here lately.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was, when I saw the match cards come out, I was like, man, how are they going to fit all this into an hour? And lo and behold, they couldn't, and they didn't. But lucky for us as fans, we got all of that in one jam-packed episode of Powerrr. So excited to get into it.
Amen. And that voice you're hearing is the lovely Wil Martin. Hey, Wil.
Thanks. I am pretty lovely.
And the voice you're not hearing for hopefully most of the show is Doc Stinson. Hey, Doc.
First of all, as a baseball fan, I like extra innings, what we call free baseball. So that's what I feel like the NWA has been giving us a lot of here lately, a lot of extra inning stuff. So keep it coming. Good evening, everybody. Enjoying this time and been looking forward to hanging out with you guys since last year, since 2021.
Oh,
I haven't seen y'all since last year.
Yeah. You can tell which ones. I was about to say you can tell which ones are the dads.
I haven't showered. I haven't showered since last year.
Wait a minute.
It's the 4th. Listen,
all right.
I work from home. It's okay.
There's a lot of stuff to get into today. A lot of stuff in the news. A lot of things going on in the National Wrestling Alliance. Did you stay till the end of the credits on NWA Powerrr?
I did not.
You guys stay?
I jumped right out and came here to hang out with you guys.
Man.
Well, if you guys missed it, nobody knew to look. Nobody knew that the NWA was the MCU right now. The Marvel Cinematic
Easter
Universe.
eggs.
There's a little stingers at the end. Don't worry, I captured it for you.
Hi, everybody. It's Sal. Want to know what I'm doing? I'm sending love. I love you. Like you love me. Like I love you. Like the sun loves the moon. Like the butcher loves the blade. Like the graveyard loves the tomb. I feel the love for Father James Mitchell, for Judas. I feel home. This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream.
So, if you guys missed that, Sal has apparently hacked the credits of NWA Powerrr.
And that looked like I was watching this episode. I was like, oh man, we got some technical issues that need to be ironed out there. I saw some glitches there, and it's like, maybe is it my internet? I use a streaming service, and then that came on, and then my initial thoughts were like, man, Sal Rinauro, when that depiction of him comes, we got a wake baby. That's okay.
Uh-oh.
When Sal Rinauro comes up, it's like this Joker looked like a portrait hanging in Hogwarts, man. Like he looked like Sirius Black or something, man.
Sweaty Sal, man.
Yeah,
he had to work really hard to hack into those credits.
Yeah, he's Sal coming up with all kinds of new special powers. So yeah, if you missed the ending of Powerrr, there you go. You free gift from us to you.
I also appreciate how slick he was though with plagiarizing those lyrics. I used to do the same thing in school. 11th or 12th grade, when you get assigned to do a writing assignment or something, I would just, not many people listen to the Cure where I was from. I just ripped some Cure lyrics and be like, hey, submit that. So good job, Sal.
That was me too. I was like, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends.
I hope that's what Sal does next is the if you want to be my lover.
Spice Girls.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, we'll talk more about Powerrr in just a second, but before we do, we're going to tell you about a couple of things that you need to know in the news, or as there's Petra, or as we like to call it, in the loop. All right, it's time for In the Loop. And you know what I'm excited about, fellas? I feel it like just like Sal, when you hack the credits of something, you might feel like you're all powerful. You might feel like you're on a power trip.
Oh,
yeah, you see what I did there? How about that segue? The power trip coming to Oak Grove Saturday, February 12th, 2022. It's gonna be weird saying that. I still have to remember that it's the new year. But featuring folks like Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis, Kamille, Tom Latimer, Kylie Rae. You know who says all of this better than me is Kyle Davis.
Wrestling fans, join us Saturday, February 12th, as the National Wrestling Alliance returns to Oak Grove, Kentucky for a special edition taping of NWA Powerrr that we're calling NWA Power Trip. Scheduled to appear are NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch, NWA World's Women's Champion Kamille, the National Treasure Nick Aldis, Tom Latimer, Smiley, Kylie Rae, and many more. For tickets, visit NWATix.com. That's NWATIX.com.
All right, so there you go. Power Trip is coming to Oak Grove, Kentucky. If you caught by any means necessary, you know how much fun those events are. So don't miss it if you haven't already bought tickets. NWATix.com is where you want to go and join us in Oak Grove, Kentucky. Guys, I don't know what matches are even happening at that show yet, but I'm already excited.
Oh, we know who's going to be there, which is, if that's any indication of what's to come as far as matches, I mean, just those that are pictured there and that were in that ad. I mean, that's enough to sell out a venue, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be great. And it's close to Valentine's Day. So make a nice trip for you guys and your significant other.
Oh, Polka Dot Pam already got her ticks. She's going. So it's going to be fun hanging out with her there. We hope to see all of you at NWA Power Trip.
At Balor Hall. I will tell you what's not too great there. That is security. Because a man like Mike Knox can walk plumb into that ring and beat the daylights out of Trevor Murdoch. So, just come and keep an eye out over your shoulder or bring a battle buddy with you. That's a military talk there.
And keep Cyon away from the silverware.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that Mike Knox did do that, but then he stumbled into Trevor Murdoch and he found out that everybody's a tough guy until you meet one, which is what Trevor Murdoch's new shirt says. Look at how I'm so good at this tonight. This one's over at Collar and Elbow. You can get that shirt right now, the new Trevor Murdoch shirt. Hope you already got yours. I got mine. Another option, if you don't like that champion, you can go with this champion, Kamille Brickhouse. The Burke is Brickhouse. That's available over at the NWA store, ProWrestlingTees.com/NWA, where they have all sorts of brand new merchandise. I mean, there's some great shirts. I was wearing that blue one yesterday, and I looked fabulous, I have to say. So anyway, make sure you get your NWA merch to wear to Oak Grove, Kentucky.
And I believe they're on sale right now for another couple of days, right? New Year's sale.
That is correct. There's a 20% off sale going on right now. You can check our Instagram. There's posts there about it, but I think the code is New Year, if I'm not mistaken. And get 20% off all the purchases over there at the NWA store. So do that. Go buy things from that store. You'll make us look good too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and buy me another one of those blue ones that that came out there in St. Louis and all that backdrop, because when I bought mine, we were out of mediums there and in place, so I got a small, thinking, I can usually pull off a small pretty well, but I'm pretty well fed because I'm happy, and when I put it on, it looked like I had a womb. so I was like, hey Piper, look what Daddy got you, new shirt. I'm gonna have to go and get me a medium or something.
All right.
I like that shirt though. I like that shirt a lot.
That light is killing me over here. It's not going to work. Anyway,
You got an orb behind you.
Yeah, I'm pondering my orb. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate you. Gary is the NWA champ of segues. Oh, and you know what? I was going to save this, Roy, but I didn't even mean to. But you just you lobbed this one over to me. Fandu has your NWA title Dome Globe belts. You gotta
tell me more.
Tell you more. You know what? Why don't I let somebody else tell you a little bit more?
Like a former champion would probably be good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For over 70 years, one name has stood for history, legacy, and tradition in professional wrestling, and the centerpiece of that legacy is the original lineal heavyweight championship of the world, the one that started them all, known to many as the 10 pounds of gold. Now, by popular demand, you can own your very own symbol of excellence, as the NWA has teamed up with Fandu Belts to bring you the official replica of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. This meticulously handcrafted belt is available in two options, the original pre-2021 Glory, as well as the revised 2021 version with the UK plate updated by yours truly. Own the granddaddy of them all, the 10 pounds of gold. To order, visit fandubelts.com/NWA.
Got a lightsaber.
It's a lifesaver.
A lifesaver. Do you guys know that Will hasn't seen Star Wars yet?
I have not seen Star Wars. It's on my. It's in my queue.
He just binged 2 full seasons of Cobra Kai.
Hey,
but he's not seen Star Wars yet. I'm not talking about. He ain't seen one of them.
I've seen the Phineas and Ferb version of it several times.
Was the Family Guy version.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
What's up, Trenda? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for being here. I see Deb's in there. I didn't say hello to all you guys. Caps out there, Willie Bowen, of course, Polka Dot Pam, front row, certified. I see all of you. You're out there. Thanks for everybody for being here. And I don't know if this is a record, but I think we got through every ad at the top of the show, and we haven't actually talked about NWA Powerrr. I was actually, for In the Loop, going to even talk a little bit about NWA USA, which is going to be premiering this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern on YouTube for free for you to watch. And but we'll save some of that as we get through Powerrr, I think, too, because a lot happened this week, and some of it will impact NWA USA. So it's going to be exciting stuff. So next up, Will made these segments, so I have to remember. Oh yeah, this is what it is. At some point, I'll get smoother at that, and it'll be awesome.
It's pretty good.
Smoother with 3 R's.
Because Powerrr has 3 R's.
Hey.
So
Hey-yo. Well, so I guess it kind of almost works as a segue, because the very first thing that was on NWA Powerrr this week was we had a big 4-way matchup between Jeremiah Plunkett, Miggs, Alex Taylor, and that dude, Jamie Stanley. It was good to see him on Powerrr. I mean, I guess, depending on who you are, he calls me neckbeard and a nerd all the time. But the Rude Dudes did make an appearance. But Jamie entering the junior heavyweight championship picture as he beats all 3 other men. Actually, I would say steals a win, some might say, from Jeremiah Plunkett in this one. Doc, you feeling good? Your Tater Pillar boys and Alex Taylor. I know you like Alex Taylor, but unfortunately for them, that dude goes over on this one.
No, I like a lot of these guys in this match, man. I'm a big Alex Taylor fan. I think he's got a lot ahead of him, and this is losing a match like this with this kind of opportunity. I know they got to take it like a setback, but he was in the match, and we are going to see a lot more of Alex Taylor. Jeremiah Plunkett, obviously his reputation precedes him. He's already respected universally among most in the crowd and in the locker room. But Jamie Stanley, man, he did what it took to get the job done, and now he's getting into that that qualifier, or that final.
Yep. Will, was Jamie Stanley your call going into this one?
No, but I mean, when it comes to these 4-way matches, regardless of how somebody wins, as long as it's clean, I have a hard time, having a major problem with it. I mean, love him or hate him, I mean, Jamie Stanley had the wherewithal to go in there and, as you said, steal a victory, and a stolen victory is still a victory in a fatal 4-way like that. So props to him for doing that. And, he's confident or cocky, depending on who you ask. And, he got the job done tonight. So I guess we'll see him on Saturday in what's supposed to be a really good top tier match, according to Joe Galley.
That is a great point. The Saint, what's up from Spartanburg, SC? Hey, that's our neighbor, Will.
I used to live in Spartanburg. I lived in Spartanburg for years.
Sorry.
Sparkle City.
Yep. Spar Vegas.
Nobody calls
Spar it. With 3 R. Spartanburg.
Spar. That's where that's the Pirates.
We got a Star Wars chat going on here. People think Eric Dale thinks you grew up Amish, Will. Yeah. Or something. You just didn't whatever. So anyway. Yeah.
I just have other things going on.
What does Amish have to do with Star Wars, Gary?
They can't watch Star Wars. They don't have electricity.
Oh, I got you.
It's
I
outlawed.
thought you were talking about it's outlawed. Got you.
Eric is saying that he can't believe anybody with electricity hasn't seen Star Wars.
I wonder if we got a copy of A New Hope and like doctored up the cover to where it said Star Wars.
Then I'd have to watch
then might be inclined to watch it. There actually used to be an old world class pay-per-view called, or I call a super card, I guess, called Star Wars.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
So at least I'm consistent.
I think that, if I'm not mistaken, on December 25th, 1982, the famous Von Erich Freebird War began at Star Wars. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it was called. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad for that history lesson. One person that wasn't at Star Wars, but was on NWA Powerrr tonight was Jamie Stanley, and he won that big matchup and qualifies for the Junior Heavyweight Championship tournament. We had a chance to catch up with the Rude Dudes backstage after the match. I'm in the back with the Rude Dudes right now, Jamie Stanley and El Rudo. Guys, I know you're known as a tag team, but Jamie Stanley, you just won the qualifier for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the big win to move on in that tournament.
Oh, my thoughts, Gary? Oh, yeah, okay, I'll give you my thoughts. Off the top of my head, let's see. I'm the most handsome, talented, charismatic, and humble man in the entire game, and I showed the entire NWA tonight why I am that dude and why the Rude Dudes are the next tag team to watch out for.
It's funny because tonight was just in the junior heavyweight division. He showed everybody how talented he is and how much we have to offer. But you see, it's just beginning. It's just starting right now because everyone in the NWA, in every city, every town, every state, every country will see that we are the dominant force in professional wrestling tag teams. And you see, we might even have a few more members, a few more surprises up our sleeve because there's Rude Dudes all across this world. They only need to have one qualification. They have to be handsome as hell like us two, and they have to make sure they can party all night. That's 2 qualifications. But either way, we can do what we want to do, and the future is now. The Rude Dudes are the team to beat in the NWA.
And if you don't like that, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy. All you have to do is sit back, relax, and deal with it.
Certainly no lack of confidence from the Rude Dudes.
Nor humility. That's true. Which is something I can appreciate.
Humble. Jamie Stanley is.
No certified. It's not Starcade is not what I'm thinking of, just so you know. I'm aware of Starcade. Anyway, go back to what you were saying there.
Well, I was just going to say, so with that victory, Jamie Stanley enters himself into the NWA Junior Heavyweight title tournament, and that is going to start on NWA USA on noon this Saturday, January the 8th. That's noon Eastern, and it's free on YouTube. You can watch that show, and this is going to feature a lot of the junior heavyweight, especially this tournament. We're going to be crowning a brand new junior heavyweight champion. That's going to be a big deal. I'm excited about it. We even saw like Nick Aldis, Mayweather, Mickie James, the Impact Knockouts champion, talking a little bit about that show. And thanks to Doc, we did capture those brackets. If you haven't seen them as they're looking right now, there you go. This is what you're expecting on NWA USA. Not all in one night, obviously, but this is how it looks. You can see down there at the bottom, Homicide, courtesy of Hard Times 2 in that 12-man gauntlet match, has advanced already to the finals. He won that matchup, and so he gets to go there. Austin Aries also qualified at Hard Times 2. And now we know Jamie Stanley's filling in that first round bracket there to take on Kerry Morton. Look at that. Lots of cool matches. And we know also from NWA Powerrr that Luke Hawx is going to be taking on PJ Hawx at NWA USA as your main event this Saturday to see who advances to face Austin Aries. That's huge.
Yep. Luck of the draw, but I mean, it's lucky for us as fans. I mean, and Luke and PJ, I mean, you saw it tonight, just, you know, obviously father and son and, you know, trainer and student. And so that's going to be an interesting matchup. And, you know, I think the ultimate winner is us as fans, because neither one of those guys is going to go out and leave anything out there. They're both fierce competitors. And so that's going to make this premiere episode of NWA USA certainly a must watch for me.
Yeah. And these are, you can't think of anybody who knows each other better than Luke and PJ. So both of these guys are going to have an advantage. Obviously, you have to look at Luke with the experience advantage. And, you know, I've got a son. I can't imagine my son beating me in a match, although he's a strong kid. And I'm not what I used to be, you know, 10 years ago. Nevertheless, I'm really excited to see that match. And you can see how that bracket plays out. Homicide getting that direct path there to the finals. And, man, who knows how this is going to turn out? Who knows?
Any early picks there for you guys? You see names like Austin Aries on there. Of course, Homicide, you just mentioned. The Hawks guys. Colby Carino's been hitting on all cylinders, but the return of C.W. Anderson, who's a veteran in this business. Kerry Morton there. I mean, just a lot of people. Darius Lockhart, who's an internet darling right now. So,
there's not a name on that list that's not interesting to me. I think jumping off the page, you know, obviously is Colby Carino, somebody who over the past year or so of NWA has really established himself. So that's got to be a favorite. I'm really intrigued by Kerry Morton and the history that goes there. You know, obviously his dad being a very decorated NWA champion. And so that's going to be cool to see him in this tournament. But yeah, Colby Carino for me is probably the one that jumps out.
Yeah, I like what you said there about Kerry Morton. Let's remember, you know, in that gauntlet match, how long he lasted. He was in there for quite a while, and you know, was there to the very bitter end. So I think you're going to see a lot. He's obviously a blue blood as far as wrestling goes, and has the best of training and the best possible mentor you could have in his father, the great Ricky Morton. If you're going to press me to lay down a bet on who I've got going to the end, man, I would be torn between the names that jump out at me right now are Colby Carino and Homicide. Those two right there, I've been thoroughly impressed. Of course, I've got a world of respect for Homicide. It's a very dangerous man. And he's, I think, gone around a time or two with every single person on this bracket. And he brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. But Colby Carino seems to me right now, if you want to talk about hunger, I don't know anybody who's hungrier than Colby Carino is right now in the NWA and the whole sport of pro wrestling. So if you're going to force my hand to come down on one name, I got to go with Colby.
Kobe's definitely a hot pick there. I'm going to say I'm looking for Darius Lockhart to do big things. He's got a lot to prove. A lot of people have been anticipating his arrival in the National Wrestling Alliance, so I'm interested to see how he's going to fare. Homicide is a given. He's already advanced right to the finals. Now we've seen, I guess he could take time off and just wait for that match, but we've seen tonight that is not going to be what he does. But he's been on a tear lately and almost unbeatable. But Austin Aries is, I think, my guy right now. Willie Bowen, I actually agree with you. I didn't even see your comment till just now, but yeah, I think that Austin Aries is coming in with a vengeance. He feels like he's been pushed around by the wrestling world, and I think he wants to come in and prove himself. And he's also, as we've seen from him in the past, willing to do anything to make sure he gets the W. So Austin Aries feels like the most dangerous man to me.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to be shocked. Whatever the other three guys that fill out that finals bracket. Like nothing's going to shock me because this is such a evenly stacked bracket from top to bottom. It's going to be super, super interesting.
Yeah. And I see Erica, I think was who mentioned or maybe it was Caps mentioned a post show on Saturday. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit. We got to figure out exactly how those are going to work. That's the NWA is upending our schedule. It's gonna be fun to find out. I'd say stay tuned tomorrow morning to bust it open. I think you might get even some more news then. So just check it out. I hear some NWA representation is going to be there. So it could be interesting what we see happen going into the new year.
Might be one of us.
Might be one of us, but probably not.
It won't be.
Yeah. Welcome to the chat, Ego Fitness. I don't think we've seen you around Ego before, but welcome. Did you miss the talk about that bum Cyon? I hope he lost. Ooh,
I like this guy.
Rob's
I like
new best friend.
Yes. Yes.
No, you haven't, but that's actually what we're going to talk about next. I think is Cyon offered up an opportunity to was given it's hard to say. He said that he took a bet with Austin Idol, basically saying that he would take on any challenge. He's looking to get back to Tyrus and get another TV title shot, it seems. And he's willing to go through any challenge, which is a dangerous game to play when you're talking about Austin Idol and that whole crew, Universal Heartthrob. And I'm trying to get the whole thing out. But what is it? It's Idol Sports Management. There we go. I couldn't get there.
Idolmania Sports Management.
Yeah.
Idolmania Sports Management in association with Church's Money Enterprises. Those guys, when you play the game against them, when you gamble against those guys, you're bound to lose. And Cyon found that out the hard way today as he got put into a match with not one, but two members of that crew, Jordan Clearwater and Marche Rocket. Not two slouches. This is not an easy match. Now, Cyon, for what it's worth, held his own in that matchup, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done against both men at the same time. Doc, are you with this Ego Fitness fella, and you're just having a smile on your face about that outcome?
Oh, 100% with both. That's not a either or situation, is it? I mean, the outcome was it was predetermined. Obviously, Austin Idol repeatedly, both before and after the match, talked about the trap being set and Cyon taking the bait. I will have to give respect to Cyon for essentially what Tyrus would go on to say, that the man is he's a fighter and he's impressed a lot of people. But now he's been knocked down to the bottom of the mountain. But what did Tyrus say? People like Cyon tend to climb their way back up. And when they do, guess who's still going to be at the top there? Austin Idol, Church's Money, and Tyrus right there, along with Marche Rocket and Jordan Clearwater. You can't go into a situation like you're saying, Gary, against a syndicate, against people that have appeared in Rolling Stone and Esquire magazine, a business-savvy mind like Austin Idol and Black G's, and think that you're going to have anything but the deck stacked against you. Cyon should have known better. But again, much respect to him on this day. Like many days that you're going to see coming up, Tyrus and Idlemania Sports Management are going to dictate terms and have things the way they want it, the way they see it, and the way it ought to be. Great night for Idol, for Tyrus, for Clearwater, and for Marche Rocket.
Well, before we jump over to you, May Valentine tried to get a word in with Tyrus and Idol after the matchup to just see what was on their mind with that predicament they put Cyon in.
Joining me at this time is NWA World Television Champion Tyrus and Austin Idol.
Now the universal heartthrob, the women's pet, the men's regret, Austin Idol. Let's go.
Yeah, whatever he said. Guys, what the hell was that match against Cyon?
That the hell, language, young lady, was the deal. He made a deal with Idol, and he lost.
He made a bad deal.
But I respect him. He's a warrior. Cyon's a warrior. And you know what? He said, give me a chance. We gave him the opportunity, and you lost. So you're back to the bottom of the mountain. But don't worry. Guys like him, they come back. And when you get back, you know where to look, because I'll be at the top of the mountain. Tell him, Idol.
We laid a trap. He fell for the trap. Maybe it was a learning experience for him, because obviously he needs a lot of learning to do. Some get it quickly, like we do.
Like that.
Some it takes an awful long time. And the best lessons are the hardest lessons. And he just learned a hard lesson.
Okay. Those were some harsh words for Cyon. Okay. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
That's a interesting way of looking at stuff. Austin seems to have like a little bit of contempt for Cyon, Will, but Tyrus seems to have respect. It's interesting to see that dichotomy between the two gentlemen there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tyrus is a competitor. I mean, he sees that, he recognizes that. He's been in the ring with Cyon, a few times, so he respects that competitiveness. And at the end of the day, this was just like they said, it was a bad deal. I mean, I don't know what Cyon expected making a deal with Austin Idol, that there was going to be some kind of fair and square, one-on-one match or something like that. But, that's what he got himself into. And I respect Cyon for standing in there. I mean, he did. When he saw Clearwater and Rocket come out, I mean, either one of those guys one-on-one would have been a tough enough test. And, he stayed in there. He held his ground. But at the end of the day, that's just too much to overcome. Those two guys are they're fierce competition, like I said, one-on-one, much less together. And it is what it is. But I think Tyrus is right. I mean, it's not Cyon's not going away. I mean, we've talked to him several times. We know the drive and determination he has, seemingly not just for the TV title, but for Tyrus specifically. There's some kind of issue there personally. And I feel like even if Tyrus was not the TV champion, Cyon would still be going after him. So I don't think, by any means this is over. But yeah, it is what it is tonight.
Yeah, and I think you might be saying being a little harsh there with Idol when you're saying that he holds Cyon in contempt, whereas Tyrus has respect. This is how Idol engages everybody. He I don't think it's contempt for Cyon that he has. I think it's contempt for the presumption that Cyon repeatedly exhibits. And don't forget the fact that Cyon was a made man. He was right there as a member of Idlemania Sports Management, and he walked out for selfish gains. And so there might be a little bit of bitterness, but I don't think that Idol is contemptuous of Cyon. Definitely not disrespectful of him and his ability. Otherwise, like he said himself on commentary, you wouldn't be in the NWA if you weren't a world-class athlete.
That's a good point. Speaking of world-class athletes, Will, two big tag teams appeared at the podium, then went to the ring. Taven and Bennett, the OGK, and the Fixers with Colby, a whole interaction there. I was just curious what your thoughts were with that whole thing.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that from a tag team perspective. We didn't end up getting a tag team match tonight. You've got to imagine it's inevitable down the line at some point, but there's some obvious contempt in that scenario. It seemed like there was some respect towards Colby Carino and his father, and what Colby's accomplished in his career so far. But the contempt seemed to be pointed directly at the Fixers from OGK, and this is a team that, as they mentioned, has been a thorn in their side since they arrived in the NWA back in By Any Means Necessary. And so we didn't get a tag team match tonight, but we got Wrecking Ball versus Matt Taven, which was a treat. And was a fantastic match. But the underlying story here is the tension between the two teams, which I hope that we get to see that play out a little more.
Matt Taven looking like $1 million, Doc, coming out there against Wrecking Ball and coming out on top. You see that going the same way for OGK next time the Fixers meet them in the ring in a tag team match?
It's hard to say, man. That you got a big brutal tag team against a not as big, but a definitely more finesse tag team. With that bring a lot of they bring an aerial and a ground game. I like the OGK a lot. The Fixers are imposing. I did want to say that Matt Taven may have looked great, but Colby Carino looked like a king being carried out there on the shoulders of the Fixers.
Yeah,
just
Eric
like
Dell
the
in the
princes
chat.
of old.
Yeah, Eric Dell in the chat pointing out doing an interview on the shoulders of the Fixers. That's some flex. So
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, and the way that we have this show set up, Gary and I are doing the show on your shoulders, Doc.
I'm carrying y'all.
Right.
I set you up for that one.
Yeah.
Roy did asking what does OGK stand for? It's actually Original Kingdom, I believe, from the Ring of Honor days. They were known as the Kingdom.
OG Kingdom, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well,
if you don't know what OG means, just Urban Dictionary it.
Yeah. Original. That's all it means.
Gangsters of Krypton. I thought it was a Star Wars, a Superman reference, a Marvel reference.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
No spoilers.
All right, another tag team match that happened tonight, a big one. The Smiley Dragons, Tootie Lynn and Kylie Rae teamed up, and they took on Missa Kate and the women's champion Kamille. Unlikely pairing. They didn't really want to be a pair, I guess, but there they were. Missa had strong words for Kamille going into this match. And that may have started them off on the wrong foot, and it never really recovered, it seemed like. So, unfortunately for those ladies, the Smiley Dragons are looking fire out there. I didn't have another way of putting that. It's fire, dragons, fire, and I feel good about that.
That's good, man. I see it because of dragons breathe. That's good.
Yeah. I've seen that in movies.
Man, I'm kind of. I wish. I don't know. I sort of wish, for the sake of the Smiley Dragons, that Missa Kate had been paired with another partner, because obviously Kamille's heart was not in this, nor should it have been. She's the world champion. Throw a singles competitor out there against her. More of the same conspiracy stuff we've been seeing against Strictly Business for over a year now. That's contempt right there, by the way. That's contempt. That's two-way contempt. Contempt for the president towards Strictly Business, and contempt return by Kamille towards the president himself. But I like the Smiley Dragons. I wanted to see them win a match, or at least be in a competitive match against a team who was motivated and whose heart was in it. And clearly Missa Kate, had her own words to say for Kamille, ill-advised words, I might add. But both of them seemed distracted. Kamille didn't really want to be there. Missa was distracted by other things, and they're going against what I think is emerging as one of the really, really, truly talented tag teams in the world of women's tag team wrestling. So, there you go. Good for Smiley Dragons. I wish it had come under more favorable circumstances.
Yeah, Freddie mentioning in the chat, he was there that night, and mentioning the Barney chant that took place. That was Matt Taven's own fault due to his purple attire, and so he asked for it not to happen, which of course means it will happen. And there you go.
And in honor, I have a purple background tonight. Solidarity.
In honor of Barney or Matt Taven?
Both, to be honest.
I will say too that when we're back there, interviewing and doing our work for the NWA at tapings, one of the first things Gary always says to the people is like, look, I'm real sensitive when people call me neckbeard. And so you know, you need to take a page out of your own book there, Gary.
No,
never
whatever you do.
Stanley that.
And he's like, whatever you do, don't tell me to piss off.
Yeah. Don't. and then it happens. But you're acting like I don't want to hear it. Maybe that makes me happier to hear it. So that's why I say it. I say that because I know what reaction I'll get. You see, playing the long game. Bobby says would like to see more of Missa Kate on NWA. And I will say same, Bobby. Big fan of Missa Kate, and can't wait to see more out of her. Got to get your thoughts here, Doc. I'm curious. Matt Cardona and Mike Knox. That's the next thing up. I was just thinking about these two guys. They come out there with Kyle. Kyle talks about, well, if you're going to be certified, like you're going to be wrestlers here, you know, licensed and ready to go, we should be taking advantage of your likeness and your brand. And Matt Cardona says, you know, he's always ready, but that's not really why he's here. He's here to save the NWA. He's going to help out with some things. He needs to add pyro and entrance music, and he needs the Trevortron, he says up there. Then he goes off on a little spiel about Trevor that lets us know that they're not really best friends. Anyway, all of this stuff that Matt Cardona is saying about saving the NWA, I'm curious with your issues you've had with like Conspiracy Corgan and that thing. Where do you fall in line with Cardona and Mike Knox right now?
This is a kind of a complex issue with me because one, I don't like the way Mike Knox appeared in the NWA. I don't like that way of going about business, but it was Conspiracy Corgan's decision to sanction the two. He came out there like a man, you know, I got to call a spade, and said that despite the heat he was getting in the locker room, you know, they were going to be permitted to participate in an NWA ring. Now, having established that, now that we know that they are like licensed NWA competitors, not necessarily on the roster, but are certified to be here and present and competing. You know, I appreciate a lot of what Mike Cardona says. I'm a public educator. One of the great tragedies that I see in public education, again, is the bullying crisis. And Matt Cardona kind of maybe opening a little of his heart, talking about what a bully that Trevor Murdoch is. And, you know, the handshake, but not looking in the eye when you do it, and sort of the undermining and the, you know, that kind of pettiness that I've seen, you know, Trevor do in past. And I think if we don't have Nick Aldis here to save the NWA against the conspiracy, why not Matt Cardona?
So interesting. So you buy all of that Matt Cardona is saying about Trevor Murdoch.
Well, why wouldn't? Well, I mean, why shouldn't I?
Trevor has said that he doesn't even know Matt Cardona. He doesn't, you know.
Exactly.
Will, what about you?
Exactly.
Trevor doesn't seem to me like a pretentious guy, so I don't know why he would lie about that. I feel like he's been in the business long enough. If he knows somebody, he'll tell you. You know, my whole thing about this, and not to be presumptuous on my part, but you know, I think Matt Cardona's showing his hand a little bit in how he ended that segment and brought it all back to the World's Heavyweight Championship. Now, I get that that's the aim of any you know, male on the roster in the NWA is to obtain the 10 pounds of gold. But, you know, I think he can frame it however he wants to. He can tell whatever story he wants to. Matt Cardona's great at that. He's great at, you know, showing up on social media and weaving together, you know, an interesting, marketable story and putting it on a podcast and stuff like that. And so I think, you know, that's what he's done in this situation. At the end of the day, he sees that 10 pounds of gold and he says, there's a title I've never held. There's the most prestigious title in all of pro wrestling, and I want to go after that. And, you know, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think he needs to come up with any kind of backstory or have a reason. I mean, to me, that's well enough. You know, that's why, you know, I don't love the way Mike Knox busted in either. But at the same time, I do kind of respect his mentality, not the way he went about it, but it's just like, hey, I want that title and I'm going to do anything it takes to get there. And I feel like Cardona's going the other way, and he's taking side roads, and he's, weaving together this tale and trying to get us to buy it. And at the end of the day, I just wish he'd be like, hey, I want that title. I don't really know Trevor that well, but he's got the title and I want it. I would respect that a lot more than this journey, he's trying to take us on right now.
Is it? Well, go ahead, Doc.
No, I mean, come on now. Everybody, first of all, everybody who laces up the boots wants the belt. That's not, a hidden agenda. That should be everybody's known.
Cardona's or zip. Just FYI.
Say what now?
His are zip up, he said.
Oh, yes. Who zips up the boots. Correct. You're absolutely right. And yeah, so he's got a social media following. And again, every talent should do that today, especially in the year 2021, 2022. Gotcha. Everybody should be doing that. I mean, the man obviously is an admirer of Trevor Murdoch at some point. There's no reason. If you don't know who Matt Cardona is, then you just must not be tech savvy. I guess you're not computer literate. But then again, who are we talking about? We're talking about Trevor Murdoch. So you might have a point there. He might really not know or be aware. But I don't think that that Matt Cardona has done anything unbecoming. I don't think that that he's got a hidden agenda. I think that, he wanted to fill the belt. Look, the three of us go back there. When we get close to a belt, we go over there. The first thing we do is touch it like kids in a candy shop. We want to feel how heavy it is too. This guy's a professional athlete who's there in the same room with the most coveted trophy in the history of the sport. Of course he's going to pick it up and feel the weight of it. And does that mean that he doesn't covet it? Of course. If he doesn't covet it, he shouldn't be here. And why shouldn't he be here? Why shouldn't he be here?
That's my point. Exactly. I'm not debating whether or not he should be here. It's the
spin you put on it, Will. It's a little spin you're putting on it.
It's not the spin I'm putting on it. It's the spin he's putting on it, because I'm sitting here. I would much rather hear him come out to the podium and say, hey, I want that title, period. That's why I'm here. I'm coming after you, Trevor, than to say, oh, no, Trevor didn't look at me backstage when we were in this other company. And, I was just here to be his best friend. Like, he's already kind of changed his story several times along the way. So forgive me if my trust in his storytelling isn't fully there. I respect him being here. I'm glad he's here. I know who Matt Cardona is because I have the internet, I have Twitter, and I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. So obviously I know who he is, but that's beside the point. I mean, right now, for him to come out and to be pointing all these fingers at Trevor and acting like, oh, Trevor, I was just here to be your friend. Like, I'm not buying that. That's where I'm at.
Well,
Freddie says he doesn't.
You clearly tipped your hand to show that you take Trevor Murdoch's word over Matt Cardona's. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah,
well, I was just going to point out that Freddie is. He says he doesn't even buy Matt Cardona as a heel, and I think Cardona would be offended that you would think he is heelish. He is constantly talking about how much of a babyface he is. So if you want to get to those insider terms,
there's more.
He obviously has the greatest respect and veneration for the NWA, and he's here to contribute and do his part to raise and elevate this company. That's what he's saying.
Now, Rob, this is where I'm going to call you out, because I thought specifically about you when he said, as a kid, he used to watch the NWA and he thought it was lame then. Now, this is what we grew up on, Rob. We talk about this all the time. If you go back and if you've been a fan of the Bearded Trio, I mean, Rob, you grew up watching the same NWA he's talking about that he said it wasn't interesting back then.
This is why I threw to Rob.
Now. Right, yeah, but what you don't realize is that LAME is a very known acronym among wrestling fans of the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Luxurious, exciting, money, and exciting.
Luxurious, exciting?
Astronomical. Sorry. No. Yeah, I mean, he's a youngster. He's talking about, listen, Matt Cardona's what, 23 years old, something like that? He's a young guy.
I think he's older than 20. I mean, I don't know how old he is.
Yeah. So he doesn't I'm not gonna sit here and condone any comment that criticizes any part of the NWA's history as being lame. But again, the guy's out there. He's heated. He's been called out by the champion. He's been repeatedly bullied, and we've seen people that we respect before say things that didn't quite mean. I mean, obviously, Gary here has this infatuation with Trevor Murdoch, not Trevor Murdoch, but Tom Latimer, and Tom Latimer's constantly saying things that we have to come out here and defend.
Wait a minute. What? You lost me there because, all right. Anyway, let's see. The next thing I want to mention, and just to finish wrapping up on the actual happenings on Powerrr, would be, of course, the huge 6-man. Now, nobody knows what President Corgan's cooking up here, but he seems to be interested in 6-man competition here lately. Gally even pointing that out a little bit. But tonight we got La Rebelión with Homicide taking on the End and Jax Dane. I don't know where this is headed, but I certainly know that is a huge, huge fight to have in the middle of the ring, and they did not disappoint. These guys kicked each other's butts all over the ring, and unfortunately for the End, they ran up against La Rebelión again, just like at Hard Times 2, and they did not come out on top. We actually had a chance to catch up with them after the match.
I'm in the back live with Pero and Odinson, the End. Another run-in with La Rebelión. And gentlemen, I got to get your thoughts. This just didn't go your way tonight.
That's 2. The End is still here.
All right, those guys, I guess Odinson making a statement there that they are still here, but gotta know, Will, where are your thoughts with these two teams running up on each other today?
I mean, I'll be happy if this feud lasts for the rest of my life because, yeah, it's 2-0 right now for La Rebelión, and I'm happy about that because I'm huge fans of those guys, and obviously the fact that they carry tag team gold means a lot to me personally. But this felt like such a under the radar main event. I mean, I know it was the main event of the night, but I just feel like this was. As I was watching, I was like, this is bigger than I was made to believe it was going to, it was kind of just a match thrown in there. Hey, experimenting with some 6-man stuff. This was a big deal. And you could tell in the ring when these guys are doing battle together against each other, there's genuine hate there. And it just becomes a really violent affair. And so that's why I say I want to see these teams in the ring, whether it's 6-man, 8-man, one-on-one tag teams. I mean, there is a clear axe to grind here between these two teams, and I'm here for it. And I know there's a ton of tag teams in the NWA. They're stacked, and there's a lot of possibilities, and a lot of people are going to be coming after those tag team belts. But when you see like that, like we got to experience talking to them right after that match, that they're not going anywhere, man. They're not. They haven't lost any steam. Maybe they've lost momentum in the record books when you look at the win-loss record, but they're not going anywhere. And I have a feeling we're gonna be seeing a lot more of these teams going at it in various different formats because I think the End wants to hold those titles, and rightfully so. And they're gonna keep going until someone stops them. And I'm not gonna stop them, and you guys aren't gonna stop them. And I don't know if anybody in the NWA is going to be able to stop them besides La Rebelión at this point. So I feel like this is a clash we're going to just continue to see until, there's some kind of resolution.
Before I throw over to you, Doc, I wanted to mention that Eric talking about your brave man interviewing the End right after their match. I would have let them cool off. I'll say this about the End. They are very scary, but just like La Rebelión, these teams are scary whether they win or lose. Before we go over to Doc, I wanted to say we also had a chance to talk to the winners of that 6-man match, Homicide and La Rebelión.
I'm here with Homicide and La Rebelión. Billy Corgan's interested in 6-man matches, and La Rebelión went out and found a great partner and Homicide, and you guys picked up the victory tonight.
Do you understand? Seriously, the international marks. Do you understand? We are the best in the world. We got the tag champions of the world. Not only the national wrestling, but we are international. The pro wrestling business. You got that, mom? You got that?
Yeah.
We are the best. Understand that.
Simplemente somos los mejores. La Rebelión y Homicide, imparables, porque los latinos siempre vamos a estar juntos dominando NWA.
Eso es así.
the best tag team in history and the next NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. Why do we say we are the best tag team in history? Because we hold these, the most prestigious tag team championships in the world today. That's why we are the greatest tag team. We beat everybody. Everybody that's been put in front of us, we beat. En Puerto Rico, en México, en Canadá, en Irlanda, en Estados Unidos, en Inglaterra. Everywhere we go, we show everybody why we are the greatest team of all time, and we will continue to do so here in the NWA. So bring whoever you got. Open the forbidden door. Bring the OGK. Bring the Lucha Brothers. Bring the... Who are those guys? FTR. Bring them too, and we will show them why La Rebelión somos amados, odiados, pero nunca igualados.
Doc also frightening, even in victory.
Yeah, Gary's got that little bald spot back there now too. Where Homicide took a handful of hair. No, man.
I grabbed some screen grabs here as we were going. That was all I could look at the whole time.
Yeah, after the previous conversation regarding Cardona, I have to say on this point, I agree with you, Will. It's not necessarily, especially when you throw in factors that aren't something we're used to seeing. We're not used to seeing Jax Dane into the fray in this, or Homicide team with this great tag team. You're looking at the End and Homicide, two of the great tag teams in the world right now. And La Rebelión, I love when they come out and they say that we're the greatest tag team in history because we hold these today. And the victors control history, so they control the narrative. But the End continuously run up against these roadblocks in a way that do not discredit them. In fact, it perpetuates them and moves them forward. I think, again, going back to Tom Latimer, I think Tom Latimer, there's a parallel there. Tom Latimer has come up against Nick Aldis here a time or two or whatnot, and seems to come up a little short in a way, though, that leads us to believe that this man is at one point going to hold the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. There's a way to, I don't want to say win by, losing, because that sounds too cliche and too contrived, but the End have lost no credibility at all in this. I see the frustration in Odinson's eyes. I see the frustration in Perro's eyes. But those guys are going to be around. They're going to continue to be a factor. But, we're talking about good problems here in the NWA. When you've got a crop of tag teams like that, and, people are going to be disappointed. You're going to lose at some point because the parity among these tag teams is so close. You got so much greatness going about. I can't think of a better tag team division in the entire sport. Then you throw on Jax Dane on top of it, what they call it, the Dane event, and you put Homicide in the mix. And I think that for those 10, 15 minutes or so that they were in the ring, that was probably the most violent place in the world. Great match. Really enjoyed that. Nobody should have their head down after that battle.
Even my head, I have my head held high. Now, one thing you said that I love is make no mistake, the End front row saying it looks like Homicide's holding up a severed head.
I know we have some meme makers out there, so go ahead and screen grab this one and this one and do work. So
I just to go off of what Doc said. I mean, the End, the thing about them is make no mistake, they're still a very frightening, dominant tag team. The look in their eyes is not one of defeat or of worry or concern for about La Rebelión. It's more of a frustration in that they know in their minds they can squash La Rebelión and just demolish them. And so there's just an irritation factor.
It's irritation. That's exactly what I was thinking. They're irritated. It's like, you got that team that you just know you got their number, but for some reason things, work out in such a way that you come up short in the record books, like Will was talking about. That's what it is. It's not fear. It's not, a lack of confidence. It's just pure frustration.
And this is something, I mean, talking about the NWA and history, legacy, tradition, which is what we stand for. I mean, this has happened all throughout time. There's a lot of feuds. There's a lot of matchups that happen over and over that if you just purely look at the record books, it's going to be skewed one way. But if you lived through it, if you watched each matchup, you know that, it really is just a fraction, of a difference that picks the winners of these matches. And that's what we've had in these past couple of matches with La Rebelión and the End. And I mean, this is going back to months ago. The first match they had in the NWA went to a no contest because it was so violent. The referee called it out. He said, this is too violent. This is not wrestling anymore. This is a literal war. And so this is stuff that's been brewing for a long time. And yeah, despite what the win-loss record says, these teams are going to continue to go at it just because pride, and that's going to keep coming up.
Man, what happens when you put Stevens and Kratos in that mix, and you got Hoxeri, and you've got the British invasion now back. You've got
Dirty Sexy Boys.
You got Dirty Sexy Boys, the OGK, Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis potentially. Those guys are guys that could do anything that they wanted to at any point. You got the makings of just a tag team division of historic proportions. I mean, you go back to the great tag teams of the 70s and 80s. This division is comparable to any of them. So I don't get offended as a history guy when La Rebelión call themselves the greatest tag team of all time or the greatest tag team in history. I've made the comparison myself between them and the Road Warriors. That just sense of invincibility, the terror that they bring, the skill, the power, and they bring even extra elements that the Road Warriors didn't have. Obviously, we think of like the Doomsday Device, but La Rebelión have an aerial assault that few can compare to. They are the full package. The End, they're right there with them, man. They are right there with them, and the margin of error is so thin that if you put these guys together in 100 matches, I promise you there's going to be a significant percentage of those where the End comes out on top. Bam, bet. That's what the kids say these days, bet.
Oh, man, I cannot believe I didn't get a clip about Susan and the Dirty Sexy Boys. Disappointed about that.
Susan from Tampa.
Susan from Tampa. We're going to find out who that is. One other match that we didn't mention, but I'm not going to forget because we have one more segment we want to hit up with you guys, and we want to know what you guys feel about this in the chat. So we want to hear from you, and we're going to ask Will and Rob here. But we're going to start with me as we talk about our favorite. So the power moment of the week. I'm going to throw this one out. I'm going to give some love to Natalia Markova tonight and just talk about how vicious she looked in that matchup with Paola Blaze. I also love that this whole situation with Taryn Terrell, Paola Blaze, and Genocide has gotten Genocide time on the mic. And it's going to looks like it's giving Genocide some respect because Paola thinks she doesn't need Genocide and walked right into a wrecking ball. Sorry, I'm not trying to copyright infringe Legursky, but Natalia Markova hits and kicks and elbows and everything real hard. And I think Paola Blaze is finding out she's good, but she might still want that backup after this big matchup and a big win from Natalia Markova. So she's looking impressive in the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, I don't think Legursky knows what copyright infringement is, so I think you're all right there. My moment of the week is going to be Smiley Kylie Rae coming out with a victory in a match that did involve Kamille. It wasn't her submission. Kamille didn't submit. It was Missa Kate. But, man, the whole time I was watching that match, it just stuck out in my mind as, Kylie Rae, when her and Kamille were in the ring together. There was, it was very interesting. It was something that, it kind of got me thinking. Some sparks were going off in my head of, this is something I'd like to see. And, I know we're all big fans of Kamille, and we recognize and respect what she's accomplished. But when we start to talk about potential opponents for her and the fact that she does need to wrestle, according to President Corgan, I'm looking at Kylie Rae and seeing her performance in that match tonight. And that's the big star for me, just the way that she came out and, what she was able to do, getting her team a win. And that was it for me. That was the moment of the week.
To your point there, Gary, earlier, I got to tell you that if Matt Cardona gets his way and they end up having entrance music in the NWA, if the Fixers don't come out to "I came in like a wrecking ball," I'm gonna be frustrated, man.
I'm not sure they're gonna want to pay the fees for that one.
I love Kelly Perry, man.
Oh God.
I kid. Now my moment for the week, it has to be Velvet Sky's reaction at the booth, at the table, to Dirty Dango. Like she could not contain herself. Like she was like, whoo, and stuff. And like that, I was like, dang, Tanya was doing the same thing. I was like, Dirty Dango? Really? That? All I got to do is come up there and just be like, hey, let me say some weird things. And Pop said the weasel because the weasel said Pop.
Yeah.
And boom, that's all it takes.
Just eat a banana. That's all you do. I ate a banana next to my wife the other day, and she was like, please chew with your mouth closed. So it didn't work for me.
Yeah. Not sure it has the same effect on us or anybody close to us, but good for
I'm
your
sitting
wife
there
and
watching.
Velvet.
No, I'm sitting there watching it right there, and it's like
Got a little heated?
not for me. But she's sitting there like reacting like I'm not even sitting there. Like I'm like, is it? I'm like, look at all this. Look at this. You know what I'm saying?
Pam saying Velvet Sky was speaking for many of us.
Okay.
So and that's coming from an Adonis diehard. Right there. So
everybody's got a type.
Speaking of what's that third base reference? James Lawrence says if NWA starts allowing intro music,
hey, Lamb of God. I'm a huge
right.
Lamb of God fan. I'm a big fan of Memento Mori, the more recent albums. I like to see maybe that one. Good call there, James Lawrence.
Ooh, made a bond. Hey, Paladin, we could see you. Fixed it.
Yeah.
Just FYI, saw Paladin earlier, and he asked for some help with being seen in the chat. So we're glad to have you back. Let's see. What are
I think that Aaron Stevens will pronounce it Paladin.
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 I don't know. I think she's canceled. Anyway, Polka Dot Pam saying Susan from Tampa had me dying. That is so Dirty Dango winning over fans tonight. Got a lot of love for Natalia Markova. Todd Tomerlin saying she's freaking awesome. Hope to see lots more of her this year. Aaron Stevens channeling the genius Larry Poffo in tonight's promo. Well done, Aaron. You're a latter-day
Lanny Poffo.
What did I say?
Larry
Poffo.
Old Lair Bear.
Get her done.
James Lawrence thinks Markova could be a challenger for a certain holder of the Burke. What do you say to that?
Well, I think Kamille will take on challengers, just like Adonis will defend against any challenger, and just like Tom Latimer will at some point in the very near future hold the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Strictly business, or at the top of the game. They still control the NWA, and they still are, in spite of what Matt Cardona says, who I like, they still are the real saviors of the NWA.
Let's see here. Eric Dale talking about he likes that they don't have entrance music on Powerrr. It makes this different and music special at the pay-per-views, just my opinion. I think a lot of people that are fans of the NWA feel that way.
It took me a while, but I got there. I mean, when I first, Gary will tell you, when I first, started getting into NWA, the current iteration, and really binging the episodes of Powerrr, it was a tough hurdle to cross over. But now, I mean, you're right, man. When I watch the pay-per-views, it's like it gives it that added layer, and the more into it you get, the more you realize it's not totally necessary for Powerrr, and it's not in line with the studio wrestling aura of the show. So
plus the three of us, we sit back there and we kind of hum our own entrance music as people come out. So that's
we're always back there. Tell us what you want, what you really want.
That's good.
Damn, I wish I was your love.
That's good stuff. Scooby wants "Let's Get Weird" t-shirts. That's a good idea. We need to hit up the NWA marketing department.
Just a banana on it.
Oh my god, that's pretty
It
good.
says, "Let's Get Weird." I'm on it.
Got to get that. Certified says Wheaton Waffle House in Oak Grove, Doc.
Have fun.
We never got to see. We never got to see part 2 of that video, man. By the way, so
I'm still waiting. I'm refreshing.
Yeah, I've been refreshing nonstop. Yeah.
Based on last time at Oak Grove, what I have to ask about Certified is: are you saying you want to eat Waffle House at Doc, or you are currently in Oak Grove already eating Waffle House?
Because
it's not till February. So
that Joker's there right now waiting.
Like, when is it again? Oh,
that's funny, man.
That's our boy.
Also, my man Certified also posted a something. I have to. You guys have probably seen it. It's the video of him like interviewing Billy Corgan outside. And the YouTube thing's like me interviewing Billy Corgan, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Corgan, can I tell you?" And you hear Corgan in the back saying, "Yes, if you put the camera down." It's brilliant, man. I love that stuff.
All right, let's see here. James Lawrence backing up. No music till the pay-per-view. Polka Dot Pam saying I would 100% watch the Tom and Chris show. Just saying. I will say we didn't talk much about them, but Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis have found their groove together along with Kamille as Strictly Business. I do have to give them that. They have not missed a step as that crew. They work together well. Let's see here. Drew wants to know what you think of OGK. Will with a thumbs up.
Good.
Fire. I got
good of them.
What I love about OGK, actually, if I may say, is that not only do they have potential to be the tag team champions, they're an amazing tag team. Both men on their own are also excellent singles wrestlers. And so either one of these men could be in title contention for anything.
Well, Taven's been a world champion in Ring of Honor. Mike Bennett has had a match against Nick Aldis for the 10 pounds of gold. These two guys aren't strangers to those singles titles. So yeah, it's very multifaceted. These guys aren't just a one-trick pony as a tag team. So a lot to watch out for there.
They're multifaceted and they bring a lot of different aspects.
Yes, that's true too. Also as well.
I saw an interview with that Samira did with like Wrestling Inc. I want to say. So shout out to Samira. She was there with us at Hard Times too. And she's been given a lot of coverage to the NWA, but she interviewed a bunch of people. We got her access and she got in there to have some good stuff, but she was interviewing Jamie Stanley in that posted today. And he was discussing how Corgan wants him there and he has access to go for any title he wants. He could be the national champion, the TV champion, the junior heavyweight champion, the women's champion. Doesn't make sense, but whatever, he might do it. And so Jamie Stanley looking for all those belts. So might be more of a threat than OGK since, I don't know that they'd go after Kamille.
Nor should
they. Nor should anyone really. Yeah. But let's see here. People in the chat wanting Tom and Chris to have their own show. We should just let them take over the post show sometime. Just have like Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis reviewing NWA Powerrr. That'll be fun.
That'd be great.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up for this evening, folks. We've been with you a little over an hour here, I think. So it's plenty of time. And we want to let you all get back to your lives. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on the NWA Powerrr post show. We love every single one of you for being here. Make sure you hit up prowrestlingtees.com/NWA for all that NWA, that sweet, sweet NWA merch. We'll try to get a Let's Get Weird shirt over there. Don't forget about the Duval Brawl. I didn't mention that one earlier on the In the Loop section, but that's coming up on January the 8th. Not only do you have the debut of NWA USA this Saturday at noon, that evening you can also check out the Duval Brawl if you're in that Jacksonville area, and go support the Pope's charity there. Trevor Murdoch defending the world's heavyweight championship against Gangrel. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. And of course, like I said, NWA USA this Saturday at noon. Don't forget about Powerrr Trip. That's coming up February 12th, Oak Grove, Kentucky. Am I missing anything, fellas?
Just pay attention to social media. A lot of stuff coming out this week. Also about, the direction that this show is going to take in response to some of the news that's coming out and everything. So just pay attention to what's going on. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials.
MySpace, Snapchat,
LinkedIn.
We're joking around, but I am,
if you follow the NWA on LinkedIn, be sure to.
As some folks are apt to say, watch this space, especially on YouTube. Check out YouTube if you're not subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit like on these videos so to let the people know that you like watching the post show and hanging out here. But I can't say anything for sure, but I've heard a rumor in the rumor mill that tomorrow there may be some big news regarding the National Wrestling Alliance. So you want to be on the lookout for that. And I know we've been talking to Busted Open, and they've been talking about having some guests, so it might start there. But just pay attention. Big things are coming in 2022 for the NWA, and we couldn't be more excited about what the future holds. So we hope you guys are along for the ride. And yeah, and Eric's saying watch NWA USA this Saturday or else.
And Eric's not a guy you want to mess with.
No. Don't do it. Don't do it. You think the End or La Rebelión are scary? Yeah, don't mess with them. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We will see you soon enough. Until then, though, you guys enjoy your gravy cake.